Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. So today we have another cast on the cards, another dual cast actually. This time I'm joined by the lovely Willows Duality.
Hello there, you beautiful people. I almost forgot my own intro for a second there.
You're getting old. You're forgetting
Uh,
everything now.
I've only said it like 300 times. You think I'd remember it by now?
That happens to the best of us, but let's go ahead and get into introducing our players. So starting off with Team 1 up at the top, Team 2 down at the bottom. We'll start with our rearguard air position. It is first Bomber, and he's going Cybran, opening first Air Factory, and judging by his build, I'm guessing he's going to live up to that name. To his east, actually, we have Grimplex, good friend of yours, actually, Willow, right?
Yeah, I just casted him. In fact, it went up on the channel today. He won the Darkest Heart tourney. That's how I met him, and he is very much so the most depressed, high-rated person ever. And I say that some amount of love. It, mostly just ambiguous hate, but love.
So lovingly ambiguous hate. Love to see it. Love to see it.
It's a very complex relationship.
I can imagine. He's going Aeon, opening first land. To the south, fellow YouTuber, streamer, caster, we have Jagged Appliance, who's going Cybran, opening first land. And last but not least, for team number 1, we have Bloodier, who is going Seraphim, opening first land. Haven't seen Bloodier in a while. But yeah, good to see him back. And we'll shift over to team number 2 now as a Bomber is kicking off. So we'll start with the rearguard air position. Willow, would you like to introduce team 2?
Yeah, in the rearguard air position, we have a Gray Seraphim, of course the worst faction, going by the name of Mimics, starting first land and working on his second air here soon. Then over to the west, we have ourselves a brown Seraphim. It's not orange, that's brown. Going by the name of Battlefront, going first land, second air. In the central position, we have ourselves a Cyan UEF, better faction and best color, going first land and second air by the name of Arch Simcat. And then last, but certainly not least for this entire game, we have ourselves a purple UEF going first land and I think second land by the name of EcoNoob. And that's all of our players.
Right on, right on. We'll see that first bomber coming out from First Bomber, who loves his first bombers, and we'll see that first bomber drop its first round of bombs on an engineer that is expanding to a mech, and that is going to be the end of Joe's life. Bob and Jake soon behind with the second round. Actually only going to get one. 3 more engineers loading up on the transport there for Battlefront, looking to migrate the Battlefront to a different point, obviously. And that bomber continuing to wreak some havoc. Missing that one engineer, but there was an interceptor out from Battlefront. I'm not quite sure where it went. Okay, there it is. Come in and finish the job. And MAA out from Mimics in the rear guard. So, Willow, looking at the map here, you can see players prioritizing expansion and transports. And this is a pretty big map at 20 by 20. What are you thinking we're going to see here?
I'm thinking we are going to see some really, really fast Tech 2 and Tech 3 transitions because I'm pressing Control Shift, seeing 26,000 reclaim, and seeing players with almost that much rating on both teams. These players are going to suck up this reclaim. They're going to get in down and dirty with land, and maybe even see the air players kind of do some shenanigans. But overall, I think we're going to be seeing very large land armies going at it with each other, and if the game goes long enough, very large groups of experimentals, because that's just kind of how high-rated players work. They go very quickly out of the T1 phase, or they win on the T1 phase. Those are the only options for high-rated players.
Yeah, definitely a go big or go home kind of game whenever you get up to play with the big boys.
Yeah, it's scary, and I've been doing it more and more often ever since Thurnist reached 1700. I'm having to play with high-rated people all the time. It sucks.
Oh, look at you, big shot, playing with the high-rated players.
Mostly losing to them. I'm bad at the game.
Well, hey, I guess that's the best way to get better, right?
Probably, maybe, who knows.
Several bombers out from Team 1. I've watched the one from First Bomber, and then several from, that would have been Bloodier, and then I think there was one as well from Jagged that came out. So Team 1 definitely prioritizing early air superiority, but not really getting it, I think. There's a good interceptor production from really all of the players, including rearguard air position, who seems to be at least building a couple of interceptors here before he makes that transition to to T2.
I really like what I'm seeing out of Grimplex in the north. We do have a semi-ghetto. It's a ghetto, but it has engineers on it. And he's using that to deal with any harassing units and also dropping engineers at areas he wants to expand. It's a pretty cool little strategy. I respect it.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like a helicopter. You got an Apache helicopter with like some medics and some field engineers, but with a couple of 50 cal sitting out the side.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in terms of analogies, it helps my pea-sized brain grasp advanced concepts like loading labs as well as engineers onto a T1 transport.
I respect analogies. I respect them.
Now we got a little bit of air engagement between First Bomber, who does have his own interceptor fleet, dealing with Arch in the middle. Battlefront on his way to open up a new front of battle. And that pun's never going to get old for the next hour or so, so strap in, guys.
He's battling on many fronts, you might say.
He is battling on many fronts. But whenever he is Battlefront, is he Battlefront 1 or is he Battlefront 2? Or is he the atrocious EA Battlefronts?
He's Battlefront 2, the original.
Battlefront 2, the original.
I mean, he's high class. He's high rated. So therefore, you got to go with the classiest of all the options, and that is, of course, Battlefront 2. Changed my mind.
The original. What was it? Pandemic and DICE, I think, made it. But yeah, that was definitely so many good memories on PS2 playing that game. But
such a classic. Just like the game we're casting right now.
That is true. Nice transition there as we get back into it with Bloatier taking the southern plateau, setting up a lot of T1 land factories, and actually we do have Mimics who, with that transport that we were talking about earlier, has dropped and created several T1 factories. It looks like he's got several more queued up on the peninsula, but he is taking control of kind of those two secondary and tertiary starting locations on the southern side, with Battlefront expanding into the last kind of mechs expansions there. So aggressive expansion from the air player, who seems to be pulling double duty, playing kind of the T1 land phase as well.
That's the biggest divergence we've seen so far, but despite that, it does seem as though he is keeping on pace with First Bomber, if not a little bit ahead economically. So as long as he doesn't throw too much of his economy into the land forces and of course, as long as Battlefront continues to kind of build up and have his own land force here to help, it could work out. But on the other hand, you have a much more consolidated eco coming out from Grimplex, who I think is, already the highest mass player in the game, sitting around, I think it's 90-ish for him, and he's just managed to expand in about the same amount of time all the way across this northern side. He's going to be a threat to be reckoned with as a bunch of units start to group up on him. Seems as though Eco Noob not happy to allow Grimplex to just continue to hold all these mixes.
Which from, an Eco Noob like Eco Noob is very perceptive to see that Eco is important in a game.
On his brain, it's so much on his brain that, well, no, it's the other way around. He to remember Eco, he made his name Eco Noob, so that way every time he looks at his comm, he just remembers, oh, right, need the Eco. That's my headcanon. That's why I choose he named himself that.
I wonder if that's true, because that actually makes a lot of sense.
Remember to Eco, you noob. And it's like that advice from pro players, the meme advice from pro players in shooting games like CSGO. They're always like, just click on their heads.
Oh, yeah. I don't play shooting games that much. Oh, I guess that's for a headshot. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to be good, just click on heads.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Anybody can do that.
Yeah, just click on the head. Why is it so hard for you?
Meanwhile, Grimplex's kind of northern position, so he's been ousted from kind of the more western northern position, if that makes sense, and his peninsula is somewhat surrounded. Seems to be, might be reenacting Dunkirk there. Actually, isn't Grimplex British? That might hit a little too close to home. Whoops.
Yeah, and Overall, he is very British. He makes sure everybody knows that. He's always talking about the GB clan. But we have run-bys by Arch Simcat. We have Eco Noob really having these large armies, and it just seems as though the northern team, Team 1, having a bit harder time holding on to their territory, whereas Team 2 are keeping the aggression on the other side of the map, trying to make sure Team 1 can't find a foothold in this match, because it's definitely starting to take its toll as Team 2 is up like 100 mass a second at 10 minutes. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say that as because Team 2 really has seemed to have everything going their way right now. With they've got more units on the field and more eco, and usually you see, actually it's Jagged coming under threat from, well, semi-under threat from several T1 units, but at least pushing his commander back. But yeah, what I was going to say is you usually see a trade-off with one team focusing more on eco and sacrificing some ground, but Team 2 seemed to be getting kind of the best of both worlds here.
Indeed they are. Indeed they are. I want to take a really quick look at reclaim numbers as we get past the 10-minute mark. 8.2 thousand for Arch Simcat, Eco Noob at 7.4 thousand, and Jagged Appliance, the only player in the top half of the group for Team 1 that is like the only player in the top half for reclaim at 6,000. So right now the lion's share of the reclaim is indeed also going to Team 2. So Team 2, just statistically and based off numbers, are light years ahead already this game, already generating 20,000 more mass in this game, which is that's a monkey lord. They've created a monkey lord's worth more of mass than their opponents, and it's only 10 minutes in.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, spiraling as well into overall eco, as you see Bloodier hovering at 27 mass per second, and Mimics the lowest on team number 2 at 65, so lowest for Team 1, lowest for Team 2.
Another thing hurting Bloodier is he has so many factories, but he really just cannot afford them down here. I don't think he can afford all of the factories he has down here. Maybe he might be. I think he's balancing it with reclaim and with. I think he has some stuff paused. Maybe no, he doesn't. He's just reclaiming really well. That's the only thing keeping him from being in a horrible stall right now.
Yep. Does have that gun comm on the front. There is no opposing comm from team number 2, so he might be, if he has good gun comm, good overcharge usage, he does have some good T1 units, might be able to at least put pressure on this kind of forward base for Mimics and Battlefront. That's kind of what he's doing. He moves in with that gun. Getting some good shots off, but T2 point defense going up. And another one soon to follow. That's probably going to force Bloodier to think twice about his life decisions and potentially move back.
Yeah, I've gotten a bit more respectful of T2PD in recent times, with me going back to playing Aeon pretty regularly. I've been getting Chrono again, and yet again remembering just how much T2PD hurts, because it's the only thing that can hit you when you have Chrono.
Oh yeah, you get Chrono, you think you're on top of the world, you think you're God's gift to this game and that nothing can touch you. It's like snorting a line of coke right before you start a game. You're just like, oh yeah baby, let's go.
Yeah, just the absolute adrenaline high that is Chrono, and the adrenaline crash that is Chrono. You gotta take the good with the bad. But we do have Grimplex doing really well over here on the northern side. He is still topping the mass income chart, so despite all of the economic woes I was trying to point out, Grimplex is doing well for himself, and he's put himself in a pretty decent position, getting T2 land before his opponent. He's full T2 land armies before Eco Noob even has the first 4 or 5 lit T2 land units on the front lines. So he's going to be set up for success right here in this northeastern corner. I think he does need to probably start worrying about the air players in this game, because I think that his comm is a bit exposed. Or is that his comm? Yeah, his comm is a bit exposed, and we could see a snipe towards him, because if he were going for a snipe, it would be on Grimplex if he were the southern team. Overall, it does kind of feel like the tides are shifting a bit, with both Grimplex and Jagged Appliance being able to push out a bit more over here on the middle and eastern flanks respectively.
That is true. Jagged Appliance with Tech 2 as well, pushing Arch back a little bit. And you were talking about the air player earlier. There's 2 whalers that have been racking up kills down here at the bottom. 15 kills and a couple levels of veterancy between them. And they're now harassing Battlefront's main base. Not going to get a whole lot done at that point, but we're able to provide support, I think, for Bloodier, who is definitely struggling.
Yeah, but he is gaining territory. Like, while he is struggling with all of the forces over here and the combined efforts of both Mimics and Battlefront, he is on the front line of battle with Battlefront. And he's getting stuff done despite the tech disadvantage and all the Ilshis. He's gaining territory and taking out some of this production. And every structure you take out is just, it's one less thing to worry about, as all these structures are still producing tanks or artillery or anything that can deal damage to your units.
So what do you think? Do you think maybe Battlefront should, I don't know, open another front?
I legitimately do. I think he should start trying to go towards that ravine just north of the factories there for Mimics. I think if he could get some units pushed in through that area, he could really get some damage done to the backline of Bloodier, because Bloodier is really focused down here. There's nothing defending that area right now.
That is
except
true.
for some Jagged Appliance units, which are coming and going as they please.
Yeah, 5-6 Ilshivas run through there. There's only a T1 PD to stop them. Be a pretty good call. Well, a T1 PD to oppose them.
Yeah.
As Jagged...
A small speed bump for the mighty Ilshiva.
That is true. Who actually have legs, so they probably wouldn't even feel the speed bump.
They just it's not even a speed bump. It's just like a... It's like if you were to trip on a stick or something. It's a stick in their path.
Yeah, you know, I can tell. I imagine everybody is getting sick of my dad jokes because you're not even laughing at them anymore, and I'm just envisioning everybody just face palming at the various dad jokes that I'm making.
I'm just used to the dad jokes. I watch all of your casts. I don't comment on all of them, but I do like.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I watch all of your casts, and I also have a family that loves dad jokes, so it just doesn't faze me. I didn't unfortunately get that gene that makes you like dad jokes, but I just am unfazed by them at this point.
Didn't get the gene.
Yeah,
there's a dad joke in there somewhere that I could make, but I can't find it. Meanwhile, Jagged pushing into Battlefront's
You should have
base.
gone to Men's Warehouse and gotten better genes.
There you go. There you go. Now you're thinking like a dad. Now we've got
all right.
T2 point defense.
You know they don't. Did you know this really blew my mind away. I said you're gonna like the way you look, I guarantee it, in a call with a bunch of European FAF players, and nobody got the joke. I didn't know Men's Warehouse is only a US thing, apparently, or at least that's what they told me.
Is that a thing that people at Men's Warehouse say?
Yeah, that's like the Men's Warehouse slogan. It's in all of their ads. It says, "You're gonna like the way you look, I guarantee it." And the way they say it, I don't know. It's just funny to me. So, and it's funny to people I know in real life. So, I don't know.
I've only had one experience with Men's Warehouse, and this is part of a much longer story that I won't get into here, but long story short, my tux pants for my wedding didn't come in on time, so I needed to go to Men's Warehouse to get replacement tux pants the night before my wedding, and they were out. So, yeah, that's my only experience with Men's Warehouse, and it wasn't great. Meanwhile, though, going back to the game,
yeah,
we've been talking about clothing stories.
the game is overrated. We're talking about Men's Warehouse here. This is some real stuff. I was about to, I don't know. I know that you probably don't care if I curse, but I'm trying to be a bit family friendlier.
Oh, you're good. As long as it's out of the first minute of the video, YouTube doesn't care either, so I don't really care. Anyway.
Yeah.
Bloodier has overrun that position for Mimics as well as Battlefront, and a run by Jagged Appliance is able to take out some mexes in Battlefront's main base. And that's really hurt Battlefront's eco, dropping him to now last place on the eco leaderboard. And First Bomber is not willing to let up the pressure either, as it looks like we got a Revenant inbound. Bombs away on 2 more mexes. That is, I think it might sacrifice the bomber though. ASF's dispatched by mimics. But the bomber was bait, as Gemini were lying in wait. And yes, that rhymes. I know exactly the right time to pull out my rhymes.
Oh man, top 10 rappers Eminem's afraid to diss right here.
Dude, I actually challenged Jagged to a 1v1 a while back, and I had this great idea. I was like, dude, okay, like our 1v1 is going to be a joke. Like, it's just going to be you picking me up and shaking me upside down until I control K. But it would be awesome if we did like a rap battle against each other at the very beginning, and I couldn't get him to sign on board with it. I think that would be so funny, though.
I don't know how to rap, so I would suck at that.
You think
also,
I do?
You know what? You've surprised me with your many skills so far. So maybe you're like hot fire on the mic or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna steal that line whenever Jagged agrees to our rap battle.
I want to point out that my prediction from the very beginning of the game is correct. Everybody but Blodier and the air players, of course, has T3 land. And it's sub 20 minutes. I said very quickly we're going to see T3 land, and we do.
That's very true, and Blodier is finding that out as Titans now rolling through. And Battlefront actually with a pretty beefy commander with gun and nano getting assaulted by a strat bomber.
Also a couple Authams and mixed into that force, which are slightly more scary than Titans, and a sniper bot in the back.
Ah, that is very true. Where did he get the... Okay, wait, he's Seraphim. Where did he get the Titans? Did Arch send them over?
The Titans were given to him by Arch Simcat.
Okay. Yeah,
Arch Simcat's been producing Titans this entire time. He has large Titan armies just roving around.
And now Bloodear dropping well into the yellow at about 5k HP. Sniper bots and Battlefront's commander in pursuit as air engagement happens overhead, and it looks like First Bomber really just has a rally point with his ASF here.
I think he's just dead no matter what, because if Battlefront ever gets into range, he has nano, and on top of that, Blodier's messed up, and the sniper bot. Like, they have to kill that sniper bot or Blodier dies, or he has to get back to, like, some form of protection. So I'm not sure he can do it.
Yeah, and Bloodear losing
of course,
500 HP with every shot, now down well into the red at 2.8k.
Yeah, and of course that Seraphim targeting every so often, those ships do miss, I've been noticing.
This is probably the slowest death I think I've ever seen.
I don't know if he's gonna die.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, admittedly, as I said, he was probably going to die. The sniper bot is missing more shots than every time it misses a shot, he's getting 40 HP a second, so it's kind of brutal, but it's still close.
Oh, okay. There we go. Battlefront's locked in with the comm. Yeah. That's it for Bloodear.
500 HP and falling, and he's dead! Beautiful explosion in first ejection at 20 minutes and 30-something seconds, or 40-something seconds.
That's probably the slowest kill I think I've ever seen, with just a solitary sniper bot and a gun comm just running after him.
It was like the Matrix. He was just slowing down and dodging those sniper bullets.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Even though he really wasn't like trying to dodge the sniper bullets, the sniper was just bad. It's just missing. Yet again, that poor Seraphim targeting technology. It's so bad.
You've given me a fantastic idea for a thumbnail. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you were looking for a new... this is just a PSA for anybody making content. If you're looking for a new software to make thumbnails in that isn't Photoshop because you don't want to pay for Photoshop every month or every year, Clip Studio Paint is basically Photoshop, and it's $50. Buy it for a lifetime, and it's really good. I've been using it, and I love it.
If you're like me and you're super lazy, you just use Canva.
Oh.
Which is a free online tool with next to no functionality, but it's idiot-proof.
I thought you were using Photoshop, so that's why I was recommending it.
Oh, no, I'm not. I have it. My wife's tried to teach it to me several times, and she like flies through it with the hotkeys, and she's like, yeah, it's this hotkey to do that, and this one to do that, and then you mask it here and put this on this layer. And I'm just like, okay, let's go back to step like 1.5.
This is really relatable for all the people who just watch FAF and know nothing about computers.
That's actually a good point. As Battlefront actually finds himself in kind of a sticky situation here. Autumn's from Jagged Appliance, who is now the inheritor of, or the beneficiary of, Bloodier's base, surround Battlefront's commander. We have some T1 bombers. I don't think Battlefront's gonna die here. Maybe? Needs to get out of range of that T1, T2 PD. That
but
T2 PD's doing
you
work.
also, it's also, since it's full share, these players do have to ask the question, do I want to kill this player? Has Battlefront really been producing all that much threat or pressure this entire game? Other than the early run-bys, it seems like he's just been on the back foot the entire time, other than Bloodier extending. Does Jagged want to kill Battlefront? The answer is probably yes, because not yes. I don't have a lith. It's probably yes, because Battlefront is still a 2100, but it's an interesting thought experiment. Also, the middle has so much going on right now. Huge battles taking place between the units of Grimplex and Jagged Appliance pushing in to the base of Arch Simcat.
Yeah, I was just going to split screen so that we can look at both Battlefronts entangling with the units of team number 1, as well as Grimplex and Jagged's push in on the far right hand side. I also hit the wrong button, so the screen's rotated. Hopefully it won't be rotated when we come back.
Hit end on your keyboard and it unrotates it, but if you do it during split screen, it ends the split screen.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was hoping that would work. But it looks like the push from Grimplex and Jagged's petering out a little bit. And I don't think Battlefront's really just taking like T1 bomber harass. I don't think it's enough to kill him.
Yeah.
Really just being more annoying.
If Jagged wants to kill him, he needs to group up the Othams instead of piecemealing them in one by one to be overcharged.
Yeah. Which doesn't appear to be on his mind right now, as he's managing a lot.
He could. Yeah, but he also is playing the game of stonks. If he overcharges your Otham in your base, you still get the reclaim. It's not a positive trade, but hey, stonks.
I don't think that's a good return on investment. Spending however much an Otham is to get 80% of it back, or 60% of it back.
Yeah, it's obvious that a better investment would be like NFTs or something. I can't say that with a straight face. Oh god, NFTs are such a scam.
Yeah, anybody can copy the image, Willow, but you own the image.
Yeah. It's so valuable.
Something?
It's so valuable. Anybody can copy the image, so I don't get copyright on the wait, this is copyright without copyright.
Nah, that's literally what it is.
It's so funny.
I think the NFT thing is like the funniest thing ever. I don't know.
I am happy that a lot of people are like I'm happy that like so many people are against it. Like it's one of the first things that's like obviously a scam, where people are banding against it, where I think other things like loot boxes people didn't band against quite as heavily.
Are you talking about like Call of Duty loot boxes and
like in gaming in general? Like people put up with loot boxes for quite a while before it became like it took Battlefront 2's loot box system for people to really get upset. Why are we talking about everything but FAF? I'm gonna defer to looking at the ASF count.
I don't know, but you talked about Battlefront, and I think the FAF gods heard you and decided that it's time for Battlefront to be ejected from the game. As he's now dodging a ton of Zooies. Does have a shield in the vicinity, so that's something.
The air players are close to even. It's 44 versus 51 in lead of first bomber in lead.
Okay.
In case you were curious, those are important stats to keep up with.
Those are.
Another important stat to keep up with is economy, and currently Grimplex and Jagged Appliance combined have more eco than all of Team 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say Team 2, like for how fast they came screaming out of the gates, are really starting to struggle now at almost 200,000 eco total down.
Yeah, it's and then when you look at the mass generation totals, Grimplex and Jagged match all of Team 2, and then First Bomber is adding enough to make it look like it's more, or well, no, Jagged alone is matching Team 2, almost. Just so ridiculous as the glorious GC comes out onto the field to show us its beautiful laser face and grabby hands that it will be using to dismantle the various units before it, be it Percivals or Titans. Actually, this is enough Percivals just to win, but you can think of, at least on the eastern side, the Percivals of Eco Noob can definitely deal with that DC.
Where are the Percivals? Oh yeah, that is quite a few of them.
Yeah, that's like, let's see, how many is there? That is 21 Percivals. With that support, the supporting units, definitely enough to kill a GC.
Yeah.
But not a
100%.
GC and all those loyal, or all those Harbingers. Actually, maybe even then. Harbingers aren't that good.
Yeah, I mean, they're okay. The fact that they can reclaim up front is pretty sweet.
I'm surprised Grimplex is only just now going into Sniper Bot production. Feels like he's gone with a lot of Harbingers, and now the Harbingers are a bit hamstrung against everything but the Titan army in the middle.
Yeah, that is true. I also am curious why Arch is going for almost pure Titan production and not nowhere near as many Percivals. Although he might be producing Percivals now.
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to figure out Icy Nightmare's trick. But Icy Nightmare's trick is you need Titans, Parashields, and Spearheads, and it becomes a competitive composition. But at this point, it feels like the Titans are becoming a bit obsolete. Even, I think, Icy would agree at this point in the game, Titans are obsolete. So he's going to have to try and find some purchase with those because he has a lot of mass. In fact, he has, let's just check. He currently has, nearly 20,000 mass in Titans. And he's building more, actually. He's up to 25,000 if you select all of the ones on the map. So, yeah, he needs to find some kind of purchase with that because I think a Monkey Lord would be better than 25,000 mass of Titans.
Yeah, that's probably true. Although, I am looking
or a
at
fat
something...
boy. You could almost build a Fat Boy with it.
Well, I'm looking at something juicy, though, in Team Number 2's base, specifically Arch's base, is we've got a nuke launcher that is nearly full. What did you say?
I said Stone Ager, the name of it. I was trying to hype up what you're saying, not interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I thought you said, "Oh, nature," and I was like, I don't think nuclear weapons are very environmentally friendly, but hey, maybe I'm wrong, you know.
Try this all-natural exfoliating cream. It's called it's called Nuke.
You know, I think that I read some reviews from some people in Ukraine from the 80s that said that was not a great way to exfoliate, so I think I'm gonna go with that one.
I mean, how many of them really lived to tell the tale about it?
Wow, okay, I went dark, you went darker.
Your product can't... listen, you can't get negative reviews if everybody who uses your product dies.
I mean, yeah, they speak the truth. As we've got a concerted effort coalition formed between Grimplex as well as Jagged Appliance. Nuke now firing off. I'm not sure where the nuke is going. Oh, it's going for the rearguard air position. And First Bomber panicking, moving his commander.
Yeah, Jagged has an anti-nuke, but it's definitely not loaded, and it won't be. Grimplex has one that's loaded, but it's not going to protect. It's not going to protect First Bomber. So this gives air advantage over to Mimics because I think Mimics has almost an equal number of ASF, and losing his air production means he falls behind quick in this style of game. The middle, though, is a problem with the GSE Megalith Harbinger brick combination. The Arch Simcat just doesn't have a way to deal with this. He needs more Percivals or Ravagers or something because he doesn't have what he needs at the moment.
They need this Fat Boy from Eco Noob up yesterday.
It's been building for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I would imagine he's starting to prioritize it as the GC now gets into range of factories, engineers, Harbinger's moving in, Jagged's army going the wrong way. Now the Megalith is
I love the
moving
name
in.
of the Megalith. Zoom in, it has a
Yeah,
name.
it's Panda Cuddles.
Yeah. Panda Cuddles.
But I think that the loss of the air player is going to be more impactful here than we might have thought in the immediate short term, as there's a lot of strats coming out from Mimics, and First Bomber
Now
understandably hesitant to commit his air force, what remains of his air force to.
I don't think you can commit to anything short of them coming for a full-on snipe on you. You need to tell your teammates to fall back and start building SAMs.
Yeah. And there are
Because
several
if you
bouncers.
commit to these now, there is nothing stopping the next 10 strats from coming out from just going for mass mech kills.
There are several bouncers in the mix, but bouncers, I don't think, able to deal with that many strats, as Mimics microing them pretty well, getting them kind of in and out relatively quickly.
I think there's like a misconception that people have with bouncers and T3 mobile AA in general. It was designed to stop 1 or 2 strats from stopping your army from going forward. It's not designed to stop like 15 to 20 strats in any kind of timely manner.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't help that there are T1 bombers coming over as well, distracting them.
Yeah, you need so many T3 mobile anti-air to stop that many strat bombers.
Well, and now Jagged and Grimplex seem to be kind of waffling here in the middle, unsure of what to do. And while they're doing that, this GC has lost half of its HP. That Fat Boy's up for Eco Noob now. GC goes down, and I think that's it for this push.
It's ridiculous how many Titans Arch Simcat has. He has 81, and they are almost perfectly concaving. Like, he's almost surrounded Grimplex and Jagged Appliance's armies. Like, it's kind of beautiful how much of a circle he's created around these armies.
It is. He's created an arch.
Now we just need a cat, and then we can call it a simulated arch with a
Arch cat.
Arch Sim Cat.
Yeah, an arch simulated cat.
He changed his name to Sim Arch Cat.
We had
simulated Arch Cat.
As another strat run comes in on that Megalith and takes out about another 30k of its HP. And that Megalith, Panda Cuddles, is gonna go down.
That's not the kind of cuddles this panda was looking for.
No. But it's, so whenever I played D&D for the first time yesterday, there was another character in our party whose name was, I think it was Archimus, and I forgot what his name was, and I called it Arch Simcat. And everybody in the party was like, who are you talking to?
How many times have you casted Arch Simcat? I've only casted him a couple times, although he is very fun to talk to on the FAF Discord.
I don't think I've ever had the pleasure.
Yeah, I was posting memes, and he said that I made a Mongoose bad meme, and I explained it, and he was like, all right, that's legit, because I explained that mongooses are bad for pretty much anybody under 1800, because most people forget that they're mongoose and just run them into suicide. I've been on a mongoose tirade since like my second cast.
Yeah, you have been.
I really don't like mongoose because I'm tired of... I've watched so many replays where somebody has like way more mass in mongoose than the enemy team and still loses that fight because they just herpa-derp in.
Herpa-derpy-derp.
I don't know. I don't normally get hurt by bad plays in FAF. I'm one of the people who can just put up with bad plays. That's why I have like Steps to Old subpar commander. But that one cuts deep for some reason.
I wonder why.
I don't know what it is. I guess I was hurt by a mongoose in a past life.
I was gonna say, yeah, your reincarnated self has a beef to pick with a mongoose. As in the bottom, team number 1 starting to lose control of the corners. Arch has gotten control of the corner that was previously belonging to Grimplex, along with Eco Noob. Grimplex now with another GC out, and I saw several other experimental construction finished notifications flash across the screen. And in the bottom, Jagged seems to also be under pressure as well from Battlefront, who I could have sworn should have died a long time ago. But I guess
he just kind of didn't.
He kind of finagled his way out of the Zooey spam.
Yeah. Also, these Percivals, they mostly were in the northeastern corner. They were mostly killing T2 mexes at that base. They're starting to get in range of a bunch of T3 mexes. So this is gonna be Grimplex. If he can't hold this, gonna be going down by very quickly. Like, you could lose 100 to 200 mass a second if you don't protect this.
Yeah, as you progress further on in the game, losing those positions become more and more hurtful.
Yeah.
It's kind of like as you progress later and later in marriage, every single word that your wife says cuts you deep to the core. I'm fine. I'm actually
Moving
fine.
on.
I'm just kidding. No.
Moving on to happier pastures.
Yeah.
Fat Boy in the middle for Arch Simcat doing work as it's forcing back, or it has forced back Jagged Appliance quite a bit.
And as a side note, I love my wife. She's amazing, and she does not like hurt me or anything. So, yeah, I just felt like I needed to clear that up. That was a joke.
So Mrs. Duelist is you're trying to stay out of the doghouse with Mrs. Duelist? Is what
Yes,
I'm hearing
exactly.
Here?
Yeah. Anyway,
so,
we've got Squealer now on the way to challenge Arch Simcat's obese child, and the Fat Boy is going to be running the opposite direction, and Squealer is going to be squealing the whole way as he's in pursuit.
Yeah, it's really weird to see a pig be the skinny one, but Fat Boys be thick.
That is true, and I think there was a nuke, or do you see what just happened? Did Eco Noob die?
I'm a little bit behind, so I will let you know.
Okay.
He's building an anti-nuke and a Novax, so.
Okay, Eco Noob did not die. There was definitely a nuclear explosion over his base. There is a nuke from... Okay, there's a nuke from... Grimplex. Yeah. Okay, that must have been what it was, and I just missed the launch. As we've got large amounts of Titans.
It was Grimplex.
Okay. Titans, Percival's, Fat Boy in the middle. And that's going to be, I think, that Megalith going down there for Jagged. And he's got a ton of bricks here. That Fat Boy is going to really be loving that kind of spread out damage against those bricks.
There's a chicken in the forward production base that used to belong to Blodeer that is destroying it right now as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's out of Battlefront.
That chicken's getting a ton of value. I bet it's going to get a few ranks of vet. Because killing structures is what really gets vet on experimentals really quickly.
Well, and that's a T2 HQ down there that was nearly upgraded to T3 there for Jagged. He's not going to be super happy about that. But the Megalith does go down. We have another one on the way. Panda Cuddles the second.
There's Verail also being built. Or is... yeah. Wow, he has so many Megaliths being produced.
That's
Making
Squealer
so
is a Monkey Lord as well. And
I wonder if that's automatic naming for experimentals or if he's doing that manually.
You know, I'm pretty sure that these are FAF players' names because Wacky Wombat, I think, is a FAF player who is also named as a Megalith. I'm wondering if we're going to see a Megalith named Willow.
It's a Patreon thing where he just names...
Oh, that's probably it, yeah.
As experimentals in his game. Maybe he has a script for doing that, because there's plenty of naming scripts out there. I'm sure you can make your own.
That's actually probably exactly what it is.
I you know what? I kind of want to do that. If I need to go to my Discord and see the FAF fucking data monkeys. Get them working on it for me.
But another nuke out from Arch going for the perimeter base for Grimplex, and that's 3 T3 mexes that are going to go down, and a lot of A lot of units, as well as First Bomber gets actually a great engage on Mimics and absolutely wipes the floor with Team 2's air forces. And as we can see, First Bomber recovered greatly from that nuke that ravaged him earlier.
Yeah. Overall, it feels like this game's been very much so ebb and flowing, and it feels as though Arch Simcat is really putting the screws to Jagged, and Grimplex is kind of slipping in the northeast. So even though First Bomber has been able to recover pretty well, the game is starting to kind of shift out of the favor of the northern team. And with Battlefront getting this control of this area in the southwest and being able to get all these mass extractors, he should easily be able to skyrocket his eco up to rival Grimplex as long as he focuses on it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think Team 2 have definitely turned this around, and I think the pivotal moment was in the middle with the Jagged Grimplex alliance with the Megalith and the GC that just got absolutely destroyed by the strats.
Yeah, that nuke landing on First Bomber and losing air control just made it so precarious for players to use their land armies, because those strat bombers, they deal damage, they hurt, it don't feel good.
And that Ethoda from Battlefront is running into Vrail. See if Vrail is able to take out Galbatorix this time.
Was that a reference? I don't know what Vrail means.
Oh my god. Every time we cast together, we have like a moment like this.
Well, I don't watch anything. If this is a reference to a show, I don't watch shows or anime or anything like that.
It's a reference to a book. It's an Aragon reference.
Oh.
If you've heard of the book.
Meanwhile, I read mostly sci-fi books. That's my excuse.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is my jam.
Galbatorix is going to go down. Vrail maintains control of the Dragon Riders. Meanwhile, both teams exchanging nukes once again. Eco Noob's forward base going down. He's going to lose, it's like 2 mexes and a bunch of factories. I think that nuke would have been better placed a little bit further in, and similar nuke going after Grimplex's expansion. He's going to lose all 5 T3 mexes, so Arch definitely getting the better out of that exchange.
That was almost, he's now down almost 400 mass below where he was just like 5-10 minutes ago. Grimplex, that is.
And what's insane is he's still at nearly 500.
Yeah, he's down a lot of mass, but he still has a lot to throw around. It's not like he's poor. It's like whenever a millionaire loses like 100 grand. It's sure it's a large proportion of what you have, but you're by no means poor.
That's true. 3 GCs though from Grimplex now marching into Eco Noob's northern base, or what's left of it after that nuke. Fat Boy, as well as a huge contingent of Percivals. They could probably turn around and take those 3 GCs head on.
I think the Fat Boy needs to keep running, but the Percivals, yes, could turn around.
Yeah, Percivals.
This is playing very scared. For almost no reason. I mean, he's nuking you anyways. May as well kill off his attacking units.
Yeah. And in the middle,
I'm surprised to not. Oh, that they can't do it. So Arch Simcat is in a beautiful position this game. So is Eco Noob. With so many experimentals being thrown around, the tactical nuke upgrade on the UEF-ACU is extremely efficient at stopping experimentals from pushing forward.
Well, another thing that's pretty effective is 2 ass washers.
Oof, that's gonna feel bad.
Yeah. He's gonna feel that one in the morning. Gonna feel that little ass washing in the morning.
I wonder why Battlefront has not decided to hand those over to the air player. Why
I'm not sure.
Deciding to micro it himself. Like, I guess maybe, but like, I don't know. It seems like giving it to the air player is the better call.
Yeah, but he's got a third one that is almost done.
First bomber just won a huge air fight. I don't see very many ASF left for mimics. I think he might just be behind. He has like 10 in the middle of your screen near the losses.
Yeah. I forget that you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, there's no ASF, and you're like, you idiot, they're right there.
Use your eyes, damn it.
As I'm seeing artillery shots streak across the screen, I'm trying to figure out who has it and where it's shooting.
I know Grimplex building one, but I don't know. Grimplex has one.
Oh yeah, Grimplex has an emissary, another emissary, 30%, 40% done. And I'm looking to see if there's any others that are in production. I'm seeing artillery getting fired the opposite direction as well. I think there's a Duke in for Arch. Yep. Duke in for Arch. And I think that Team 1 are getting a little desperate. They need this artillery to do something because Arch is literally taking over half the map.
But I think Arch is I think he's spread himself thin. There are 6 Megalith on the field. And at least 1 monkey, I don't know. There's 6 Megalith on the field, and they're starting to gain some territory. As long as he doesn't allow the Megalith to get fully isolated, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to stop this, other than with his Fat Boys. And Fat Boys can be dealt with by air now, because first bomber has air. You just send 15 Strat Bombers, and those Fat Boys both die.
These names are pretty funny. One of them is named Sheep Thief. I'm curious as to the origin story of that name. As GC flanked with 3 Megalith start making its way into Arch's base, shelled by 2 Fat Boys at range. The Ass Washers coming in, all 3 of them actually, to give that GC a good, nice little loving touch. As well as the Megaliths.
I thought of a really dumb song, and I don't know why, because it doesn't make sense, but when you said Sheep Thief, for some reason I thought of that song, like a thief in the night to come and steal me.
I don't even know what song you're talking about.
It's like a pop song from 2000s, or maybe the 2010s.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Help you.
It's just, now it's stuck in my head. If it's stuck in your head now that I've said it, go down in the comments and tell the Duelist to co-cast with me more.
You're going to say, go down in the comments and tell the Duelist what the song is, because he's curious too.
Are you?
Yeah, kind of.
I thought you wouldn't be. I don't know why. It's just like...
I'm curious to know where this Sheep Thief song is.
It's not even, it doesn't even make sense. Unless you like change some words out.
Okay. I'm okay with things that don't make sense either.
Like a sheep in the night to come and steal me? No, that doesn't make sense.
No, that works perfectly. Sheeps are very aggressive.
Them sheeps are stealing all my shit. Damn sheep.
I think we've got another artillery installation up in the south. It's a Hovatham now for Battlefront.
The Novax is also done, and it's going after the Megalith production line, which is kind of upsetting for Jagged. Or, oh wait, I'm quite a bit behind, so he's already probably got a shield up for you.
Oh, yeah, he does.
But there is a Novax, and it is online and moving around.
And it is doing stuff. It looks like it's going after Jagged's forward base. But Jagged has lost, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, soon to be 5 experimentals, Megaliths in this forward push, which just feels great, I'm sure.
Those are only the ones that we can count. I'm sure he's lost even more Megaliths that have already been reclaimed.
Yeah, also a good point. Or have their reclaim destroyed by Owasis.
Mm-hmm. He's, you say many things, but one thing you can't say is fuck words. I'm done.
You can say a lot of things, but blah, blah,
blah. No, you can just fucking word vomit. And they were all coming out at the same time. I couldn't help myself.
There's a teleporter coming in now from first bomber, so I think team number two are looking at, or team number one are looking at kind of their last gasp. And nuke comes out once again from Grimplex. As
the key thing though is there's no tele defense from what I can see for either of the players producing air on team 2. Getting into either of those air grids is going to be huge.
Yeah, let's check.
And he could maybe even get
defense.
out. Yeah, but the air grid isn't covered. There's some tele defense for eco nuke, but the air grid itself, you can easily get it.
That's true. As the nuke takes out a healthy portion. I think he nuked the reclaim.
Oh wait, no, he doesn't survive because there's 3 Awasas. I'm just dumb. No matter what he does with a teleport.
Yeah, he's not gonna make it out. It's a one-way trip. The gun speed and range is done, and I would imagine he is teleporting now. Nope, he's not. He's teleporting.
Can you imagine
soon.
that people pay both of us to speak, and both of us are struggling with speaking? Me more so than you, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just wild to think about. As a lot of things go on.
We got teleport coming out now from first bomber. Let's see if he's going after the air grid there for Arch, or if he's going in for... I'm trying to see where he's going. He's going after the Duke for
Grimplex
Arch.
is working on his 3rd emissary, by the way.
Ooh, sexy.
Yeah, he's really getting down and dirty with diplomacy.
Yep. Teleporter completes. That's going to be it for that Duke. Looks like first bomber going after the second Duke. Needs to get through the shield. One more shield to go. That is going to be Arch's second Duke down. Titan's quick to respond. Needs to start teleporting out. He already is. And that was an SMD that goes down too. This is a value teleport right here. Hopefully he can get out.
Gonna be close.
It is going to be really close. That's a lot of T1
those are T1
bombers.
bombers.
Oh, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it.
His base is going to Jagged, and I mean Jagged, he's pretty good.
That's true, but it looks like team number 1 are actually just going to call it there.
Yep. That was an interesting end. I understand it, but interesting end.
Yeah, I can't say that I necessarily blame them. I think they were losing too much ground.
Yep.
And hadn't done quite enough damage yet.
So I'd like to say thank you for letting me join for this such an illustrious occasion to cast with the Duelist, and such a good game.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming. If anybody who's watching this has not checked out Willows Duality, I'll have his channel linked down below. It's always a pleasure to cast with you,
we can mention now?
Who can we mention?
On YouTube? Yeah, no, on YouTube. If you put an @ symbol and type in Willow, you can actually mention my channel, and it'll give a special kind of link. It's very weird. Steel Speaks did it to me twice, and I did it back to Steel Speaks, and it's a trippy thing. It's like adding somebody on Twitter.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll give that a shot. So check the description as far as how to find Willow's channel. It's always a pleasure casting with you. I think this is the 7th or 8th dual cast that we've done. So there's some on my channel, some on your channel, but it's always a lot of fun.
We'll have to do more. And if you are ever, by the way, Duelist, if you're ever looking for somebody to do dual cast with that is not me, Thurnus has been dual casting with me a bit, and I'm sure if you reached out to him, he'd be willing to do some with you too. So if you're ever just in the mood for a dual cast and I'm not around, that's a secondary option.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I know he's a much better player than me, but with that, I think we'll call it there. Thank you so much for joining, Willow, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Love and bridges.